How's it going, everyone? Today's video we're going to be back working on the Genesis. Alright, so we do have quite a few things we got to do left on the Genesis to get it back up and running. Some of those things that we're going to get accomplished today is the driver's side arms in the rear need to be retightened. Those are the only three I had to remove to get the axle out originally when we were doing the LSD swap. Alright, so I ran into a bit of an issue. It took me a couple hours to figure it out. Basically what happened was I torqued the axle nut down to spec, but once that happened, the spindle or the wheel bearing wouldn't move at all anymore, like it was binding. And so I went about doing a whole bunch of different things to try to figure out what the issue was, spacing stuff and checking tolerances, and everything looked to be right. But at the end, I ended up just stacking washers in the same or slightly thicker diameter than the dual caliper bracket to see if that would make a difference, and it still ended up binding. Now, the kit for the dual caliper brackets didn't come with any instructions. I took the caliper brackets off, put the wheel bearings back on, spins freely. Okay, so now we're actually getting somewhere. Won't work with the bracket, so I'm like, what's going on? Like I said, it didn't come with any instructions, but I remember seeing these inside of the kit. Now what these are is just aluminum spacers that are the same thickness as the dual caliper bracket. And what you do with these is you slide them over the axle, between the axle and the hub before you put the hub on. That way when you torque the axle bolt down, it squishes this and it doesn't pull the axle out of the diff into the bearing, which is now spaced out. So I have been able to actually torque this down to spec, and it's still movable by hand. Now I do think I crushed these bearings by torquing it down too tight, so I am going to be replacing these with new wheel bearings just so I don't have any issues since I'm already in here. And fun fact, when you use the V6 axles, you can actually get to the back bolts, because on the 4.6 axles they are a little bit thicker and they block the bolts so you can't get them out. But on the V6 and coupes you can, so that's actually pretty cool. Alright, so now that we know what's going on with the rear, I'm going to go ahead and get some new wheel bearings. That's going to pause that for the moment. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and start working on getting my new calipers prepped and painted. That way I can go ahead and start getting the front end done, and then when I have the wheel bearings in the back, I can slap those on as well. But I do have 4 new calipers, one for each corner. I'm going to reuse my rear ones in the back for the Hydra. So they are just basic cast, and I do want to paint these because I know that these will rust. These are genuine because they do have the Hyundai and Kia logo, so that's pretty cool. These are Reman. Look pretty good. Comes with all the hardware and whatnot. I'm going to mask these off real quick and then get them ready for painting. Do also have the other 3 right there, and a makeshift, like a little spraying area. Of course, as soon as I go to start getting ready to paint, the weather takes a turn and starts getting moister in the air, but it is what it is. I'm going to use a piece of cardboard on top of this once I hang up the calipers, that way nothing can get on them, and do a quick little primer and paint right here. Alright, so it's going to go from a basic non-masked caliper to like this. Now, so I did have to split the caliper because it's easier to wrap in 2 different pieces. So that's the first piece, this is the second piece. Not much to wrap on the bracket itself, but I want to make it easier. Main thing is that the banjo bolt is blocked off, the bleeder is blocked off, and the rubber piston is, or the rubber seal around the piston is blocked off. That's not tape, it's actually like a chalk or something. Just happened to be blue. I was picking at it for a while before I realized it wasn't tape. But now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and do the 3 other ones right now. Alright, so we got the calipers painted. These are the rear calipers. Well, one set of rear calipers. I still have to do the other set, but man, these things came out great. Still wet, so we'll let them dry. So it's definitely not the best weather to be painting out, but those rear calipers came out nice. I'm gonna let them dry completely, and then we'll spray the front ones. Alright, so that's gonna be it for this video. If you enjoy these, make sure to leave the video a like. If you're new here, subscribe, it's free. If you have any comments, leave them below as well. Next video we're going to be focusing on getting the rear wheel bearings replaced, torquing all that stuff to spec, putting our rotors, dual calipers on, replacing the brake lines and the master cylinder and brake booster. Alrighty guys, take it easy.